That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? You know, I am an unapologetic, absolute lover of Man of Steel. I keep Henry back here watching over the protecting the studio here. I think it is the single most underrated comic book movie of all time. But as a big fan, I also understood it was in the best interest of DC to reboot and relaunch and move in a new direction. Well, before James Gunn came in and him and Peter Safran took over DC, right before they decided to do that, Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdy, the heads of film over at Warner Brothers, according to a story in The Wrap, were actually talking to Michael Bay to come in and direct a Henry Cavill-led Superman sequel. The folks over at Games Radar, they write this: before James Gunn took over, Warner Brothers reportedly wanted Henry Cavill's Superman film directed by Michael Bay. It seems that Warner Brothers was already planning to take the otherwise dark films in a new direction. They write, a new report claims that Warner Brothers was hoping to tap Michael Bay as the director for a potential Man of Steel sequel. Per The Wrap, Warner Brothers Pictures chiefs Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy briefly tried to get a standalone Henry Cavill-led Superman film going in 2022, with Michael Bay eyed to possibly direct. This was before James Gunn and Peter Safran were named as the two new co-heads of DC Studios. It is worth noting that this report lends some credence to a 2022 story that claimed Warner Brothers was doing a complete overhaul that involved bringing classic DC heroes back and taking Superman into a different, lighter direction. Ben Affleck recently commented that movies like Justice League and Batman vs. Superman were far from kid-friendly, too far from being kid-friendly. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Ridge. Okay, let's talk about this. This is easily one of my favorite upgrades I've made all year. This right here is the Ridge wallet, and it is such an upgrade over my old bulky leather wallet. You know the one, it looked like a sandwich and it felt like you were sitting on a brick. Ridge is a sleek, modern wallet that holds up to 12 cards plus cash, and look at this slim design. It's made from premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber. Mine is absolutely beautiful and I get compliments on it all the time. And here's a part of it that really gives me peace of mind. It's got RFID blocking technology. That means your info stays safe from digital pickpockets. Plus, every Ridge wallet comes with a lifetime warranty. This is literally the last wallet you'll ever need. And right now, just in time for Father's Day, Ridge is having a huge sale. Get up to 40% off your order at ridge.com/Campea. Just head to ridge.com/Campea to find the perfect gift for dad or yourself. When you check out, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Give dad the upgrade he deserves this year. You know, you remember that Ben Affleck comments talking about that DCEU. He said it's just like, my kids didn't want to see them. You know, it's like, you got to make these movies that appeal to adults and to kids. I always like the way you put it, because I liked the DCEU. I gave positive reviews to every single DCU movie except two. And that was the Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, Fabulous Emancipation movie, and Wonder Woman 2. Those are the only two movies they had that I gave negative reviews to, right? I like this cinematic universe. I did, but I love the way you put it once, because I think you nailed it once. You said, there's so much good about the DCEU, but there's no joy. I remember you said that once, and it has always stuck with me when I've thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you and I both love Man of Steel.
Oh, love that movie.
Now, I love Man of Steel because it was hard-hitting, because I thought it was more of a science fiction first contact story. And I loved, Zack Snyder, these depictions of angry gods. I mean, Zod was an angry god descended or came up from the netherworld or the outer world of space and was hell-bent. I mean, a great villain in the sense that he thought he was going to revive Krypton.
Saw himself as the hero.
The Codex. But you watch that movie and it is unrelenting in its violence. There's not a lot of humor in it. And I've said before, like you said, there's no joy. And what I'm saying, there are moments that are like when Clark rescues, the kids in the bus. But even that, it's dour. Like, my son saw what Clark did. Oh, as if it was a bad thing that he I understand they're not supposed to let him know anybody has powers, but There was no that moment. If anyone else had made it, that would have been a great triumphant moment where you would have seen the kid like lifting the bus up, and you would have heard the theme music. But in this, it was like he shouldn't have done it. And then Kevin Costner even says, "Well, I don't know if you should have saved those kids."
Oh, I love that when he shows. Was it supposed to let them die? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
I like that. That was heavy, but I
mean,
love
that's
that.
why that's
moment.
that's why I liked Man of Steel. But I don't think like kids would love it, you know. And at the end, and that's what I mean. You have to have joy. And look, I love Zack Snyder's Justice League. I loved it. But again, it's you need to be able to smile and laugh in a Superman movie.
Yeah,
Superman has to put a big smile on your face.
And apparently Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy kind of felt the same way. And so they were looking, again, this is before the James Gunn overhaul. They looked to Michael Bay. Now, the first reaction, I'm sure for almost everybody hearing that, is what were they thinking? And let me play devil's advocate for a second.
I'm with you.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second.
I'm with you.
Now, I am somebody who, aside from the first Transformers movie, which I still have a special place in my heart for that first Michael Bay Transformers movie.
Yeah.
To me, I'm only speaking for myself, all the rest of them were gutter trash. I hated all the rest of the Michael Bay Transformers movies, right? But he has made some films that I really enjoy. Now, he also made Ambulance, which I also thought was complete crap. But I did not mind his Ewan McGregor, Scarlett Johansson, The Island.
I didn't either.
I kind of like that film. But I'm going to mention two other films here that I don't just like and think are okay. I love these movies. Armageddon and The Rock.
Yeah.
Now, just for a moment, and let me preface all this by saying, would I prefer this to James Gunn coming in and taking over Superman? No. I'm much happier with the way things are. But if we were to teleport ourselves into a world where James Gunn and Peter Safran didn't take over DC, and we're only living in a moment right now where Pam Abdy and Michael DeLuca, and we're finding out they're approaching Michael Bay, I will tell you this. The idea of Michael Bay bringing the sense of fun and intensity in the action that he did with both Armageddon and The Rock, and if he could take that and bring them and inhabit a Superman movie with that DNA and that temperature, I'm going to tell you right now, that's something I would be intrigued to watch. I think that would be a fun movie, and I would not have hated it. Now, it might have ended up being the next Ambulance, or it might have ended up being the next Transformers The Last Night. But if it could have turned out to be Superman, The Rock, Superman, Armageddon, I think that could have been a potentially interesting movie to see. I don't know. What do you think about when you hear this story?
Oh, I'm with you 100%. The Americana jingoism of Pearl Harbor with American flags billowing behind Superman and Bad Boys, the humor and energy of Bad Boys 1 and the incomplete over-the-top Bad Boys 2. I mean, if you had a great script, if he had a great script that just nailed all of those elements, with his visual style and his ability, because look at Armageddon. In Armageddon, it doesn't even matter that they go to an asteroid. You just love those crazy characters.
Yeah, love them.
You love them. You know, I could watch a whole movie and just spend the night partying with the crew of Armageddon. You know, it would, even the Russian scientists they go pick up in the space station. That sensibility, it would be funny. You know, and even the parents, Shia LaBeouf's parents in the Transformers movies, they're movie parents. They're parents you only find in movies, and they're funny the way parents in movies can only be. But all that, it would have been. I'll tell you one thing: it would have been full of joy,
Yeah.
and humor.
Those are some big ifs. You guys are mentioning movies. The last movie on record
You
that
got
you
to mention some big ifs. I like that.
the last movie you guys just raved about was Transformers, and that was 2007. And everything since has not been good.
Okay. I'm an apologist for
Now, he
Dark of
hasn't
the
done
Moon.
much, though. He hasn't done much since there's not a lot he's directed
Well,
since
Pain and Gain, dude.
I did like, yep.
Pain
like
and Gain shows
I like
that
that
he can bring it down to earth, and he can make a movie like if that sensibility. Pain and Gain's a hoot.
Yeah, I still like that. You guys are mentioning some big ifs. But I guarantee you this too. At some point in this fictitious Superman movie, probably a 19-year-old Lois Lane wearing extremely tight shorts would have been leaning over to fix Superman's
or
thing.
Wonder
She's
Woman.
like, hang on, let me fix this motorcycle.
Yeah, let me fix this motorcycle for you, Superman. I mean, and then of course, and then there would have been an aircraft carrier in there somewhere.
And like
Yeah,
extreme,
that Superman would have lifted up out of the water.
Yep.
there would have been extreme worm eye views, just pointing straight up. Yeah.
Look, again, let me be very clear. Am I sitting here pining for a Michael Bay Superman movie? No. All I'm saying is if that version of history had unfolded, I can honestly say I would at least be intrigued to see how that movie would have turned out. I would have at least been intrigued. I much prefer being where we are today with James Gunn doing Superman, but I would have been intrigued.
And you know what else he would have done if he made that movie? We would have had a Superman action scene in space.
Yeah,
He would have figured out there would have been some alien threat, not just on the Earth, but he would have got somebody would have been throwing the moon. He would have gone some massive over the top ILM extravaganza. It would have been dope. I would love to have seen that.
Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Apparently, for a short time before James Gunn took over, the movie's execs were looking at maybe doing another Henry Cavill Superman movie, which, by the way, I also would have loved to see Henry Cavill play Superman again. But by Michael Bay. I think the thought is intriguing, fraught with peril, but some potential, maybe upside. I don't know. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us see your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.